So we got to get into this Draymond Green statement, and do you agree? So we're gonna play the clip, let everybody hear it, and then we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Switch the scene here. Um, where is it? Here we go.
My top five is LJ number one, MJ number two, Kobe number three, Steph number four, and Shaq number five.
Okay. You got Bron first.
Yes, because what Bron has done, like when you talk about Cicely Tyson,
Yeah.
Bron started in '03. By 2005, Bron was the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
In 2020, he was still the best player in the NBA. He was the best player in the NBA no matter what the game did. The game went from two slugs, like slow big man, to like a stretch four big man, to like back to two big man, to like big man.
Me and you out there playing the phone
Facts.
And he's been the best no matter what. When you look at the teams that Bron has carried to championship or carried to the finals, MJ didn't beat the greatest team ever assembled, nor did he run up against the greatest team ever assembled every year. You look at the skill set that Bron has. There's nobody that has ever played the game of basketball that can do what LeBron James does on a basketball court. Nobody. Michael Jordan could do just about all that LeBron James does, except for he for damn sure couldn't pass like Bron.
They had a vision like that.
I love MJ. I think MJ is incredible. Like, MJ is MJ. Like, we all wanted to be like Mike. Like, I wear 23. Come on now. Like, we all want to be like Mike. But what LeBron has been able to do and how he can control a game and, like, to do it this long, like, MJ retired. Like, this shit's grueling. Like, going to the finals year after year after year. Bron went 8 or 9 straight years.
9 straight.
Like, MJ took a break right in the heat of that shit. Bron ain't taking no break. You know what he did? Went again and again and again and again.
With different guys every time.
And again. So, for me, that's why it's Bron over MJ for me.
All right. So that's the clip. Yeah, man. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let's start with Ike. You were an MJ guy at one point.
I'm still an MJ guy.
Well, still MJ guy, but I mean, you went from MJ to AI. Like, I mean, right now you don't. I don't know if you have a current favorite player, but I just know you as an MJ guy. We've had a conversation before. So, what do you think about his list? Him putting LeBron first and MJ second.
Well, I can tell you that my list is reversed.
Okay.
Jordan's my 1, Bron's my 2. I don't have Kobe in my. I'll since we're only talking Bron Jordan, I'll keep it to that.
Okay.
I don't disagree with a lot of the points he had on LeBron in the early part of this conversation, because LeBron was the best player in the league really early. 2020, you could maybe argue Giannis, but he still was a very elite player in 2020. Where I have issues is, LeBron went to finals after finals after finals. I don't care if you're not winning them. And to me, going to the finals means nothing. I also hate the stat of, he's like 15-1 in the first round. I don't give a shit. It's the first round. You're supposed to go to the finals if you are the best player in the league. That's what we expect the best player to do. Every time somebody has the best player in the league, we expect that person to make it to the finals. So you did what you were supposed to do by getting there. Who he drugged to the finals, I'll give you the very first one against the Spurs, because I have a hard time remembering who was on that roster other than Ilgauskas.
I can tell you.
Don't tell me. I don't want to know. I don't care. But every team he's had after that has had players. The only other one that you can say is when Kyrie and Kevin Love got hurt, but they got him to the finals. They got hurt in the playoffs.
I can name.
He hasn't been. I'm listening.
The last Cleveland team that he took.
That had Kyrie,
No.
or it still
The
had
one
Kevin Love?
when he didn't. It was just him. There was no Kyrie. There was no Kevin Love.
You talking about the one with Mo Williams, the All-Star point guard?
Nah, I think
No,
he's
we
talking
talk.
about
No,
the
I'm not
last
the
year
first.
he
I mean the
went
last year that he went to the finals with
Kevin
Cleveland.
Kevin Love was there though,
Kevin
right?
Love was there.
Kevin
Oh
Love
yeah,
was there.
well, yeah, okay. Well, it was just Kevin Love. Was he? Was he?
No.
Was he hurt?
No, the only one that when Kevin Love got hurt is the first year when they played, and Kevin Love got hurt technically
Because
in the
I
series
remember
before
it was
that,
like-
and then Kyrie got hurt in Game 1, and in my opinion, they would have won that series had they had both of those. And that's my issue with Draymond.
The year after Kyrie left.
That's my issue with Draymond saying like, oh well, he came against the best team ever assembled. LeBron had the team to beat them. So if they're the best team ever assembled, you ain't supposed to have no weaknesses if you're the best team ever assembled. That Warriors team had no size. LeBron's teams had size. He could have won all of those with the exception of maybe the first one because he literally had that team's kryptonite. But they're supposed to be the best team ever assembled. I completely disagree that they have a list of players, but they had a huge weakness that LeBron's teams was able to exploit. And that's really why they came back from 3-1 because they still had an advantage in size.
What about the Kevin Durant Warrior teams? What were their weaknesses?
Size.
They still didn't have no size.
They had no size. And the Cavaliers had size. That's actually what we're talking about.
With who?
They had rebounding.
Cavaliers with size.
Tristan Thompson was getting mad boards in that entire finals. LeBron can rebound. Who was rebounding for the Warriors?
We're talking about the NBA Finals, and you brought up Tristan Thompson. We're talking about the NBA Finals.
But
Tristan Thompson
he's also gives you nothing on the offensive end.
He's also a much more effective rebounder than anybody that the Warriors had.
We're talking about a team.
They didn't stop him from the boards.
Draymond and KD,
and they couldn't stop Tristan Thompson from the boards. So the greatest team ever assembled could not stop Tristan Thompson from getting rebounds. Thank you for helping my point.
That's very true.
Well, no, he was talking about the KD. He was talking about the KD Warriors.
That's what I'm talking about. He only played the Warriors 3 times.
I thought we was talking about the. I thought he was talking about the 73-9.
No, I wasn't.
I don't know. I'm
in general.
Okay. I'm talking about Draymond. What he was saying when he took the greatest team. I didn't know if he was talking about record wise or if he was talking about when KD got there. So that's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's actually something that needs to be clarified because the KD Warriors are by far the best team ever to me.
Right, but they didn't have the best record. So if you kind of look
that team, I'm taking that team over some All-Star teams certain years. So absolutely.
Okay, so we'll refer to the Durant team. Okay, the Durant Warriors. So
who I honestly forgot about the 73-9 team because they lost. Yeah. So, but again, to me, LeBron had that kryptonite. I don't follow up because Jordan he didn't have that possibility. They didn't have a cap space to be able to do that.
I got a question for you guys. So you said LeBron had their kryptonite. What exactly was that kryptonite? I could have missed it. You probably said it already, but I could have missed it.
Size was that team's kryptonite. That was a team who couldn't stop Tristan Thompson from getting rebounds.
So Tristan Thompson was the kryptonite to beating.
He was getting rebounds. Obviously, LeBron was getting like 10, 12 rebounds a game.
He's getting. Somebody got to rebound. If us four is out there, we might end up with.
Somebody has to rebound. But if you're the greatest team on earth, you should be able to stop me from getting rebounds.
But LeBron didn't beat those teams.
He
didn't beat the Durant.
How do you stop a team from getting rebounds? How do you do that? I've never heard of a team stopping someone from getting you got.
Keeping Tristan Thompson off of the offensive glass.
You're not gonna be able to clean up every board. That's unrealistic.
No, but Tristan was getting some.
And he didn't dominate no other series on the boards.
So basically, you're saying he got more boards in that series than any other series.
I'm saying that he showed that that's how he got paid. He got paid based off of the finals, playing against the Warriors every year because that's the only time he seemed to know how to rebound.
Okay, so I got a question because I don't know. I think the points is kind of missing each other. So we're talking. Which year are we talking with the Durant Warriors? Because we have several. Because they won two championships. So we gotta define.
I do think that they win if they have Kyrie and Kevin Love against the KD Warriors. So I think
they only played once.
Was better, but he just didn't have the help. They played twice because KD has 2 rings.
Okay, and they were both against the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I make sure we're talking about the right team. So
like,
give context to people who.
I think the Cavaliers team was better, fully healthy than. So I don't think that helps his argument to say, oh, he played the greatest team ever. I think the other team was better. They just didn't.
But they didn't have Kyrie, so it's like. It's also a Kyrie-less Cleveland team, so.
There was not one Cavaliers team that was better than any year of that Warriors team. I'm sorry.
They never
that 3-1 was a slip up. But if you play that series again, you put the Warriors up 3-1 and you play that series 100 times, 99 times the Warriors are going to win that series. Maybe 100. We literally witnessed history watching that series. We'll never see nothing like that again. I ain't going to say never. It's a long time. Maybe NBA Finals 50 years from now, but
it was the first time.
We're not. Yeah, that was the first time an NBA Finals came back.
It was in the finals. It was the first
time. It hasn't even happened that many
times.
It's probably only happened a handful of times in any series, but in the finals, that was the first time we've seen that.
And I thought you were talking about just in the playoffs. I'm like, no.
It
hasn't happened a whole lot of times, but it's happened before in the playoffs.
Yeah, you realize that series, both ways, only had one close game. Every game was 10 points or more. Yeah. So there wasn't one team who dominated the entire series and somebody won a close game or they were evenly matched. Every game except for game 7 was 10 plus points.
Okay. So I got a question for, I guess, you, Ike. So Jordan, because we got to keep it in context. He also mentioned Jordan and why he was number 2 or whatever. So with Jordan, when did you believe Jordan became the best player in the league? What year would you say?
For me, it would have had to be the end of the first three-peat. I wasn't like everybody else who said it like in year 1 when he first won the finals. I mean, he was the best player in the league by far years prior to that. But I would say the best player ever is when I started putting him in it. I would say at the end of '93, and then he retired on me, and I had to wait 2.5 more years to get back to it.
So nothing in the '80s.
No.
Okay, I'm
not for me. No.
I mean, it's argumentative. I mean, that's the thing with a lot of that. I mean, it's very argumentative. I mean, in terms of that, I don't know, without knowing every player, I don't think I would put LeBron as the best player in the league that early in his career. Was he one of the better players? Sure. But I don't know that I would say he was the best player in the league at that given time. But that's just argumentative, I guess, depending upon, certain things. Because I don't agree with Draymond saying that was the best team ever assembled. I don't, because I actually agree with Ike. I think they had too many flaws to be considered the best team ever, in my opinion. So I never would have made that work. People got infatuated. And I think I'm going to go ahead and say it for y'all. Yeah, they were the best team to play with in 2K. But in terms of real NBA, no.
But I also think they're looking at the long haul and overall. Like, you look at Steph, he's a top 10 player, I believe. You look at KD, I believe for a lot of people, he's at least top 20, at least for a lot of people.
See, I got KD over Steph.
I think KD.
I do too.
I'm just saying. I think KD is a top 10. I think Steph is a top 10. I think.
Can I say something?
Hold on. I think people think that Klay Thompson is at least top 25. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking when they're looking at when you're looking at all-time greats and you're rating those 4, you look at when he's saying greatest team ever assembled. I think he's looking at it from that standpoint.
After you also looking at it from the standpoint that he played for the team.
He's
extremely biased in a lot of things.
But to put LeBron number 1, I mean, he could have easily threw Steph number 1, and then everybody would have been okay. We wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Nah,
because I'm just saying you would have been biased. I mean,
not nearly as much.
And LeBron gets him paid too. So
can we get Justin?
But again, I would say all of us, none of us agree with Kobe.
No,
I didn't say that.
he didn't. Yeah, Jared didn't.
I don't
say
agree
that,
with Kobe.
I don't agree with it.
I-
But
okay.
that's a different.
I'm
That's a
taking
different
Kobe.
topic.
Now,
That's a
I,
different
you,
topic.
no, wait, no, because Kobe
I
number
can't make
3.
I can't make a
He
solid
put Kobe
case
in front of Steph.
for Kobe, so I'm not gonna argue Kobe, but he's in my top 5. But like I said, I can't make a case for him. If someone was to, argue me down about it, I mean, it is what it is. They can have it.
But that's what I'm saying. So you got 1 LeBron, you got 2 Jordan, you got 3 Kobe, and then you got Steph and Shaq.
Steph Shaq.
So I look at Kobe as a carbon copy of Jordan.
Exactly.
So I think that this, and this is my opinion on it. I see you. Go
I didn't
sit
say
back in the
nothing.
couch.
I
No,
didn't say nothing.
I can see you, Justin. See, you're not invisible. See, some people might only be able to hear you. I can see you. So sit back. I'm just saying, with him being a carbon copy of Jordan, I'm not saying he's not great. He has the numbers, the accolade. He has everything, possible to be considered. But I just think that he didn't do it his own way. I don't know. I don't even know if that makes sense. Or if, you know what I mean? But I just think like
he had a lot of help is basically what you're trying to say.
Yeah, like
Which
I don't know.
I think people overlook Scottie Pippen's effect on Jordan and his accomplishments. Because first I'm gonna go ahead and say this: when you were talking about when did you realize Jordan was the best ever? 1988, he had the ultimate season, everything except winning the championship. He had Finals MVP, regular season MVP, first team All NBA, Defense Player of the Year, Slam Dunk champion, All-Star Game MVP. You know what I'm saying? He almost completed the ultimate season. So I'm not a championship guy. Like, I feel like when you're the best, you're the best. When you're the best, you can't coach the team. You can't shoot the shots that other guys are taking. You can't get every board. You can't get every assist. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think winning a championship is what solidifies when you can be considered the best player in the NBA. That's just my personal opinion.
Go ahead, Jesse.
I just wanted to make this quick comment just so make it clear. Part of my issue, and then Jared, it's on you, my man. But part of my issue, even like with the whole Draymond thing, and this is my opinion with that, like what you just did is exactly why I don't think they're the best team ever assembled. You started naming them based upon how they played individually. That does not make them a great team.
That's a great point. That's what I was going to get to.
That does not make them a great team.
That's
so
exactly what I was going to get
to. That's literally that's I'm gonna leave it at that for now. But just understand that individual greatness does not equal team greatness. So go ahead, Jared.
But
with that,
yeah. Go ahead, Jared. Go ahead.
That's actually what I was going to touch on. Not only do they have the individual accolades, with a team that can shoot like that, like I cannot think of a team assembled that can shoot like that in history of the NBA. Granted, I didn't have League Pass back in '94. Like everybody tried to act like they was watching all these games. We were 7, 8, 9 years old. Like I wasn't doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I can only go based on the stats, some tape and kind of comparing, what guys did against certain guys and kind of coming up with my own opinion. I didn't have League Pass in '94. So I wasn't there. So I said that to say, I can't go based on that, but I do want to speak on what Draymond said. I don't really have any absolute issues. Granted, I do think it's kind of weird that all of a sudden Draymond is Team LeBron. I don't know where that started or why it started. It's actually kind of creepy, and actually the sound that you played was actually a bit cringy. Just to keep him on it, it's so weird to hear him talk about LeBron like that. It's almost like he's on the payroll. That's neither here nor there. I don't have an ultimate issue with what he said. I do feel like that Warriors team now, again, I don't know if he's talking about the 73-9 Warriors team, which was, they were elite. But that KD Warriors team, I personally can't see a team beating them. And that goes off what Justin said, not based on their personal accolades, but how they run that system. Golden State has a system. Everybody buys in. Apparently, I would love to sit in on the practice. Like I would love. I don't even know why. I don't even understand why other NBA teams don't replicate what they do. The key to winning is to move around.
Quick question then with that, with what you just said, Jared. So do you give Steve Kerr the credit of getting them over the hump then?
You know what? They were close with Mark Jackson. So I really don't know. I don't know if it is there. I would love to see all of those guys in another situation. Basically, I would love to see Klay Thompson as a number one because I mean I think that will help us all in this battle. I would love to see Steph Curry, with
You have seen Steph by himself though.
A 2008 Cleveland Cavaliers team. Like it might be a whole lot different. We just never know. But based on their personal accolades, coupled with how they play basketball, which they're having a rough season this year, obviously. But we're still seeing, that shooting, you just can't compare. Like, I don't take it lightly when people say Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are the best, shooting backcourt ever. That very well might be true. Then you add a Draymond, you add a KD to that. And then, back in those days, Draymond wasn't, triple single. He could get you 16, 18 points, I totally agree with that Warriors team being the best, ever. And I know our boy Isaac is off right now, but in the 22 NBA Finals games that Tristan Thompson played, he averaged 9 rebounds. I mean, that's not even a double-double.
Yeah. So, okay, well, what y'all saying? So I'm gonna go back a little bit because, like I said, I agree with Justin's point. So I think we're playing. I think a lot of people play semantics with it, because, like, on one hand, they talk about a team, and then on one hand, they break it down into players. They break that team down into players and what those players do. So I look at it like if we're comparing players, we're comparing players, and we take what those players do. And
but the first thing
how they affect the team
is try to throw in a team accomplishment when you're discussing players, and I don't think that's fair. It's just too many variables. There's too many things to consider when doing that.
But that's what's a team accomplishment.
You could have all the you could have all the talent in the world, but if you ain't got no chemistry, you don't have a coach that's making a difference. You don't have a coach that's getting everybody to buy in. You're letting one or two guys have egos. Like, it's a lot of things that go into winning the championship. And I feel like that Warriors team, they had it all together. You never really heard about a whole much going on. KD and Draymond had their little spats. But something in that Golden State locker room is special. And it's been like that for, a number of years now. And that's why they just get my vote as, And then my issue with the whole MJ LeBron thing, people, I think I'm misunderstood with that. People think I hate Michael Jordan, which I don't. I have a ton. Bro, I have probably over 60 pair of Michael Jordan shoes in my room. Like that. I don't hate Michael Jordan. What I draw exception to is when people try to act like Jordan is light years better than LeBron. If you got Jordan 1 and LeBron 2, I'm not mad at that. I have a ton of friends that feel like Jordan is better than LeBron, and we haven't had one argument. As long as you respect the game, respect both individuals, what they've done, and can have a back and forth conversation without, insulting or, nut hugging this and are you a dick rider this, excuse my language. As long as you can
intelligent conversation about it.
I'm cool. We can talk numbers all day. We can talk variables. We can talk squads. We can talk coaches. We can talk schematics. We can talk competition. We can talk a variety of different things to break down who you feel is the best. I'm not mad at anybody who feels that LeBron is not the best player ever. I feel like I can ride with that, but I mean, we'll never know. We'll never know. There's no absolute answer to it. It's all subjective. But I do draw exception when someone is, LeBron can't even sit at the table with Michael Jordan. That's cap to me. Like I don't totally agree with that. But if you got Jordan 1 over 2 and you talking, real talk, I don't have a problem with it. That's like my number one misconcept about myself. Like, I don't have a problem with you saying Jordan is number 1 over LeBron. I have an issue with you trying to make it seem like LeBron is not close, and that's not real talk to me.
I agree. LeBron's my number 1. Like I that's just how I am. I've never been a fan of Jordan.
People think I don't like.
I'm just not a fan. I don't buy his shoes. I've just never been a fan of Jordan. You can
like basketball and not like these guys. That's just how I see it.
But I also grew up, growing up in the Midwest with the Pacers.
That's true.
Battling with battling with the Bulls.
That's true.
Also, am a fan of Miami, who also in the 90s battled with the Bulls. So both of my favorite teams constantly battled with the Bulls, and the Bulls kept them from winning, even getting close to a championship.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
One of the
that's just me. It's personal with me,
right?
But I don't knock anybody else. I like LeBron.
Right.
From the jump street. I think as a young black man coming into a league with all the pressure on him, you know what I mean? In high school, he was still in high school, and they were just talking about what he was going to do and what he was going to be.
Right.
And for him to come along and to do what he did, not have no scandals, no craziness off the court, like supports everything positive, you know what I mean, backs the players in the league, made free agency what it is now, gave power to the players in the NBA. I have no problem with it when it comes to getting money.
People should be able to do what they want to do. If you want to leave in free agency,
I'm not arguing that. He said he made free agency what it was.
What it is
but
now,
but let's just talk about, and again, it is what it is. I don't care. I'll be honest. Half of that stuff I would never say because I don't know these people personally. LeBron could be a dirtbag. I don't know the dude personally. I don't care what you see on TV. Media is going to show you what they want to show you, so on and so forth. But there's no point in going down that road. Like, I don't know these people personally. I don't know if they're good or bad people. They're entertainment pieces for all.
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Some of the bad people do show themselves, though.
Correct.
Exactly. So I'm just saying in the realm of things.
Well,
of
the
what we
dumb
get.
Bad ones. The dumb bad ones.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I'm just saying. A lot of
yeah.
times you hear something like when you have these elite players, you hear something about them. You know what I mean? Oh, KD sensitive, or Kyrie not a leader, or you know what I mean? You hear all these little crazy things.
We've heard it all about LeBron. I can't think of one thing I haven't heard.
That's what I'm saying. So
you hear a lot about a LeBron too, though. I mean, when it comes to that stuff. So,
but when you talk to like when it's like coaching or like GM, like people who hire up who has control over teams, or you know what I mean, who they want on their teams and things of that nature, like you don't really hear that. Or people who's really close to him, as far as like people who play with, like Kyrie don't, even though they had their thing, like Kyrie don't say that LeBron anything bad about LeBron. I've never heard nobody say he's a bad teammate, or in the locker room he's this or that.
Some of the stuff that I see from, like, I can't stand LeBron's mannerisms. Like, this started, I want to say, after the second year of LeBron coming back. Like, the way, it's something that he does off the court that gets his teammates to, like, buy into him. Because on the court, just how he be looking at people and, and dropping his shoulders, like, I don't know what happened, but, like, after his second year, in his second stint in Cleveland, like, something about his body
language. Yeah,
his body language is terrible. Even last night, like, I don't know. But his teammates seem to like him. Because even like guys like Kyle Kuzma, you got guys that he traded. That whole, he's doing making all these moves. The guys that he traded, quote unquote, they still mess with him. They still retweet him. They still speak highly and positive of him. Mm-hmm. I don't know. From what I see on the watching the games, I'd probably hate him. But like I said, I wasn't watching Jordan every single night back in 94 or 95. Like, we just don't know. We really don't know. And then without social media back then, like, everything is broadcast nowadays. Every single look, every single facial expression, everything is caught on tape. And everything is plastered all over the internet constantly. Will we have saw some different things and felt a little different way about Michael Jordan had we had that kind of access to him? Probably. But we just don't know. So like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not mad with anybody's opinion. As long as you can hold a conversation and back your point, I got to respect it. I like and respect sports. I like and respect the game too much to just throw out, somebody's meaningful, fact-driven point.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I got a question for you. Do you, you said no? I don't get that shit.
It did sound like you said,
Did he say,
No, I said, what's up?
Oh, I thought you said, I was like, dang, okay.
No.
Well, this has been, no.
Yeah, right.
So, where do you rank Jordan, I guess? How do you see him as a player, as a player in the league?
I think you could probably argue that Jordan was the most dominant player in terms of NBA history. But I'll be honest, when it comes to like top five and all that, I don't jump into it because there's too many variables. I try to respect. I just try to respect all the play. It is if you personalize it. I don't. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, part of the reason why Draymond's list was trash to me, everybody that he listed has played in the NBA, in the last 15, 20 years. Are we saying Kareem was trash? Are we saying Kareem wasn't top 5 or Wilt wasn't top 5? Like, there are a lot of guys, if you go back, kind of like what you said, Jared. I can't say that I was watching all these guys play, but I've watched documentaries. I've heard other players talk about some of these guys. Right. And some of these guys, the way people who played with them talk about them, again, I have to respect it, like you said. So I think anybody who has a list like that, personally, I can't give it much validation only because, let's just be real. Are we saying Kareem? If anybody knows Kareem's won at every level, my man, and he's put up some stupid numbers. So you mean to tell me he's not in your top 5? That's how you look at it. I get it. That's how I look at it. That makes sense.
I think some people try to throw in, because I'm one of those people. People try to throw in competition, but like you said, like, I wasn't watching those games. I try to stay away from commenting on. Just like the conversation, I believe it was before the first podcast when you brought up that, because I thought you were going to hit me with a gusto. When you said that, I said, You said Kareem was your number 1. I said, I can't argue that. Like, it's just not something that I'm going to dive into. Like, I just can't. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of really can just go with the guys that have been in it last 20 years, and then you stick a little bit of Jordan in there. Like, granted, I don't think anybody from 1990 to 98 was outside of Jordan that's necessarily just, oh my God, top 5, top 10 worthy. But, it's all subjective. Like, you just gotta put your opinion on it, your own spin on it. And as long as you can back it up, I'm gonna respect it. I
think that's what it boils down to. Like, I think you can't, like you said, I think both of y'all are right. Like, you can't pour too much into it, but you only can go off of what you've seen, what you've experienced, your experience in the NBA. You know what I mean? So that's all you can go off of. So, like, you can look back and you can dig deep and you can find some players, like you said. You can find some. You can get real analytical. You can really break it down and be like, hey, look, if you really want to, talk numbers, or you know what I mean, like, LeBron or MJ might not even. They may be top 10. They may be bottom 10.
I have to check that calculation, but
I'm just saying though. I'm just saying though. Like, if you look into, like, depending on what you want to bring into it. Like, if you take a collection of the NBA as a whole, the game, the championship, everything about the NBA, and you bring it in as a whole, like, some of your people that you was like putting up there, you might be like, oh shoot, well, I didn't even know who that was. You know what I mean? Like, that. Oh, he did that. I don't even remember. Shoot, I forgot he got that MVP day. You know what I mean? Like, you start. You can really go. But you see, I think you got to keep it opinionized.
My whole issue though is most people, when you try to have a conversation, kind of goes back to what you said, Jared. They can't have a educated conversation around this though. That's why I steer away from it, because it's like the first thing that comes out of everybody's mouth when it comes to Kareem and Wilt. Oh, there was no big guys. Okay, like. Let's just be real, my man. There were other big guys. If the league wasn't as big as maybe how it was in the 90s, but there were other guys around. So don't get me wrong. And the reality is, if you did any research, anybody who played with like those two guys, for example, just giving them as an example, they would tell you, no, those dudes were legit. Those dudes were legit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've heard people say like Wilt might have been the freakiest athlete ever. In terms of what he could do on a basketball court, off a basketball court. Like, he was wiry, but like stupid strong. I mean, like it was like I've seen and heard so many of those kind of things in these documentaries.
On its last night, same clothes I'm from last night, still lit like it's last night, young living in the fast life, young. Smoke cloud from the hash pipe, catch air from the half pipe. I need to send a phone from the shows with the mansion. Chandelier dancing, counting a Branson, yeah. Been had hella Franks, man, it's ballpark figures. Might be in the field, but I came from the trenches. You can tell it's my time, you can better squint. I do like the charm on my wrist, let me stitch. Want me pay the way, I'm the wave, I'm authentic. Sitting courtside, got a sprain, nigga, I bring the gang for the gang. Nothing but a thing when I sang. Young Usain, I sprinting, getting fresh prints. Counting a blessing on blessing on blessing. They call me the reverend, y'all nigga play too much.